Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
I'm Aiara.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, free Palestine. Um, what media have you been interacting with lately?
Uh, Still playing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door a whole bunch. That's been really fun. I'm up to Twilight Town now. Um, been playing a lot of Kirby Superstar Ultra again because it's been a really long time since I played that game. Um, and that's about it. Oh, I've been reading this book. This book series I got into when I was in middle school. And I found the second book finally at a pretty good price, so I decided to start reading it again. It's the Mysterious Benedict Society. It's good. It's just as good as I remember. Definitely very geared towards like a middle school, early high school though, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of funny at times.
What's it about?
Um, so it's like this group of kids that get selected to be in the society uh in order to like stop this evil thing that's happening that they don't really know about. Like someone's sending hidden messages over like airwaves, so the radio, the TV, etc., etc. And while they don't really know what the messages are all about, they just know that they're bad and they have to be stopped. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Well, for me, still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm supposedly 40% through the final mission.
Hmm.
Over that, it seems like the final mission. So, I'm happy to be done. I'm just tired of it. It's a good game. I'm
I
just
get
tired
it.
of
I
it.
get it.
But I finally got a gaming laptop. So I downloaded
Nice.
Hades 2. And it's real fun so far, but I'll talk more about that later. I started randomly, was last night, I don't know. I was just looking for something to watch, and I was on Netflix, and How I Met Your Mother's on Netflix. So I just watched the first episode. I haven't seen How I Met Your Mother in so long. I used to love that show.
Hmm.
And I guess I'm starting to rewatch. um, but yeah, Scavenger's Reign is on Netflix now, and yeah, I've been watching it. It's weird because it still opens with the HBO Max original, so you can tell that this
Hmm.
was for sure like a David Zaslav decision, um,
Yeah.
because like, it, why is it on other places? But like,
Right.
at least it's getting more eyes on it. I'm rewatching it to give it some more runtime. I'm like halfway through it now, so
Hmm.
yeah, so it's a great show. Definitely suggest watching it.
Yeah.
It's a great sci-fi show. Um, Still watching One Piece, trying to catch back up. In the Wano arc, like a few episodes in. Kaiju number 8. Um, Episode came out last night. I haven't watched that yet, but still good show. Reading the manga too. Manga's great. The best part of the manga, honestly, are the side stories, and I'm wondering how they're gonna adapt the side stories. Because they tend to focus on kind of the side characters and giving more of like their backstory, and I wonder how if they're gonna integrate those just into the regular season, or if they're gonna make them like OVAs or something like that. Um, Demon Slayer, of course, still airing currently. Demon Slayer is just great. It's close to wrapping up. We're getting close. Demon Slayer's almost over. Uh,
Mm.
Dungeon Meshi. Um, the
Oh
actress
yeah.
who voices Marcel, Emily Rudd, plays Nami in a live action One Piece, and I didn't realize that
I
was
think that's
her.
really neat.
This is her first voice acting role. But yeah, when somebody said that it was Emily Rudd, and I was like, huh, that's cool. And yeah, this is her first voice acting role, and yeah, she's doing a great job in the English dub.
She
So
really is.
and yeah, and I found out that Laios was voiced by Damien Haas from Smosh, which I didn't realize that was him.
Yep.
I know he does a lot of voice acting, but I didn't know that was him specifically. Um,
Yeah.
Also, Chill Chuck is a deadbeat. I don't want any
Oh
spoilers,
yeah.
but I found out this man has a wife and a kid, and it threw me for a loop. I knew he was a grown man. I knew he was like in his late 20s, but I didn't think he was going to have a wife and kid. That's insane. But yeah, the last episode showed that he was a grown man because they all like switched races, and he
Hmm.
became a tall man, and he just looks like a late 20s year like man. He's like 28. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show's great. I finished up season 4 of X-Men anime series, and I'm on season 5 currently. I'm on like episode 3. In the 4-part finale for season 4, there was a little DC Comics Easter egg with one of the psychics that got abducted by Apocalypse. They look like Ganthet, which is one of the Guardians from Green Lantern comics that created the Green Lantern Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him and I was like, is that Ganthet? And I was like, wait, that's a DC character. What is he doing here? They just gave him a different logo on his chest instead of the Green Lantern logo.
Oh.
But moving on to animation. Actually, I don't even know if I sent you this trailer, but Sakamoto Days is getting an anime adaptation. And
But
I've always seen this manga at like the top of the homepage on the Shonen Jump app, but I never realized it was this cool. Apparently it's about an old retired assassin who settled down and had a family, and now he just looks like your average dad. But when his former enemies start to come after him again, he has to defend himself and his family. So it's this dude with this like aggressively dad body just going around beating the crap out of people. It feels like a combination of Spy Family and Way of the House Husband.
oh yeah, for sure.
I love these slice of life shows that put a twist on the formula. They're really fun.
Same.
There was a trailer for Tomb Raider: Legend of Lara Croft, the animated series by Powerhouse, the studio behind Castlevania and Blood of Zeus, and it's starring Haley Atwell as the titular character. Haley Atwell, most famous for playing Peggy Carter in the Captain America movies.
Wow.
Yeah, the animation looks incredible and different from anything we've seen from Powerhouse so far. So I'm really excited. It's releasing later this year, on October 10th. Because video games, they're better adapted in animation. It's just the truth. Even though of course, Tomb Raider is one of the ones that could easily work in live action, and has, because those Angelina Jolie movies are pretty good.
Right.
It's crazy that they just haven't done another good one. I saw the last one. The last one was okay. It wasn't like egregiously bad, but it wasn't like it wasn't the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies. Low key, they just need to make another one with her.
Yeah.
Because in this situation, I don't feel like it would be a case of like trying to. It wouldn't feel like bringing back an old franchise like most studios do all the time now. I know, it just wouldn't feel that way to me. It would just feel like we're getting more. We got a teaser for Arcane season 2. And it shows Vi joining the Enforcers, aka the cops in this universe, and it's got the internet a little confused and up in a tizzy. Vi took the term "fuck the police" the wrong way.
Yeah.
But anyone with even like a passing knowledge of League of Legends knows that Vi is an enforcer in the game. But the many people who discovered this world through the show didn't know that and would never assume that a character like Vi, who knows how corrupt the system is and that's such a big part of the story, would work within it. But with how well this show is written and the fact that the police and government being corrupt is such a core aspect of the story, she probably won't be a cop for very long. Like at the very least, by the end of this season, she will probably stop being a cop. I don't see these people telling a story that's pro cop or like trying to make it seem like the system can just be changed from the inside and doesn't inherently just need to be torn down and rebuilt from the ground up.
Right.
Like, I think this would just be an interesting arc to see her go on. It'll bring her in direct conflict with Echo, of course, and likely cause some strife with Caitlyn. And yeah, like I said, I just trust this team to tell a very nuanced story, about and based about the government and corruption, and not sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But my adventures with Superman. So in the last episode, they gave Superman a new power that he doesn't have in the comics, as far as I know.
Oh.
So I wrote that I won't spoil it, but low-key, everything I'm about to say is subtle spoilers. But
Okay.
It's interesting. And I think they may be leaning into Superboy's tactile telekinesis from the comics. In the comics, the tactile telekinesis is like a field of energy that can be extended out and used to exert force on objects, essentially do telekinesis. And sometimes in some comics, it's used as an explanation for how Superman gets all of his powers. That his techno telekinesis is powered by solar radiation, and it allows him to make force fields that make him invulnerable, or propel himself through the air to fly, or extend himself outward to lift things. And that's how he flies at super strength and is invulnerable.
Right.
And if they're going that route, I'm excited because I think that's an interesting take. Even if it's not necessarily that it fuels all his powers, but it's just an extra thing that he has that he doesn't normally have. Usually that's a Superboy thing. Superboy has the tactile telekinesis, but giving it to Superman, I think, is interesting because, like we talked about last season, this show is very anime influenced, and they've been leaning into like some Dragon Ball and like Sailor Moon references with Superman in this, which is really fun. It makes a lot of sense. I feel like those two series are. I wouldn't be surprised, especially. I mean, Dragon Ball is already very clearly inspired by Superman. Everything about Goku is inspired by Superman, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sailor Moon took some inspiration from Superman as well. But yeah, this show's good. What else we got? Lois in this episode is competing with her role model Vicky Vale of the Gotham Gazette for an article about the tech company Ambertech and their new clean energy. And just investigative reporting shenanigans with Lois are always one of the biggest highlights in Superman stories, so it's fun to get that.
Right.
And this episode introduces Cyborg's dad. Why am I forgetting his name? I almost called him by Cyborg's name, which is Victor Steele. Not Steele. Steele is a completely different character. Victor Stone. Silas Stone, that's the thing. And they also introduced John Henry Irons, a.k.a. Steele. And the fact that we're getting John Henry and Supergirl in the same season is incredible. Like I keep saying, yeah. I want to see the Super family expanded in this universe because they do such a good job of writing those characters and their interactions with each other, and their relationships is easily the best part of the show. But it wouldn't be my adventure with Superman if I wasn't talking about the one thing about this show that I despise. And Livewire's design is beyond trash, and I will never get over it. I get upset anytime she shows up. It makes me mad. The people working on the show have a superpower almost as great as Superman's, and it's creating the most milquetoast version of Superman's villains to ever exist. They made Metallo a robot. Now, there's hope that maybe they'll make the cyborg version later. But if I'm being real with you, I doubt it. I completely doubt it. They are doing some more stuff with Lex in this season, and that's fun. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see how he goes bald. Because right now he's got a full head of red hair, and I'm like, nah, son, the hair gotta go.
No.
It's gotta go somehow. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gotta happen. I don't know if he's gonna.
It's gotta go.
He's gonna get cancer from all that kryptonite, which is a storyline that's happened in the comics before.
Oh yeah.
Because kryptonite is literally radioactive pieces of exploded krypton that shot across space, and Lex Luthor just be keeping it in his back pocket. He doesn't put it like Batman. At least puts it in a lead case on his utility belt. Nah, Lex Luthor just puts that in his pocket. He puts it in his breast pocket over his heart.
He keep that thing on him.
That's how
he's nothing if not dedicated.
I bet you it's gonna be something related to kryptonite on how he loses his hair. But yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think the show's good, and I'm glad that it's showing people that Superman is more than a boring, overpowered character. He's just so much more than his superpowers, and that Superman and his stories represent hope and compassion, something sorely lacking in today's pessimistic, internet-driven society. And he's an extremely important character that we will always need. And to quote Grant Morrison, writer of All-Star Superman, somewhere in our darkest night, we made up the story of a man who will never let us down. Moving on to comics. Still reading George Perez's Wonder Woman. Haven't been reading much other than that. I'm reading some manga. I don't really talk about manga because I don't want to spoil it. People spoil manga way too much online. But I am reading, like I said, I'm reading Kaiju number 8. I'm reading, actually let me open Shonen Jump app and see what I'm reading. Because I can never properly pronounce the name of one of them. Kagurabachi, still reading that, it gets better and better every chapter.
So I've heard. I've been meaning to get into it. I'm just lazy.
Yeah. There's one chapter left in My Hero, and it's out right now. I haven't read it yet.
Oh,
Yeah, it's wrapping up. It's crazy it's crazy
that's
that it's ending.
insane.
Jujutsu Kaisen is also
Yeah.
very close to ending. And there's a new chapter of that
Yeah.
out. I haven't read that yet though, but I have been reading it. So like within the last couple of weeks since we recorded, I for sure have read some Jujutsu Kaisen. Um,
Right.
what else? Been also reading Chojin X, which is by the creator of Tokyo Ghoul. That's their current manga. It's pretty good. And Chainsaw Man, of course. Still reading that. Um,
Hmm. I heard it got really crazy in the most recent
oh
chapters.
my god. I had to stop and think about my life
Oh wow.
after reading that last chapter. You gotta catch up.
Yeah.
It's starting to get wild again. Because for a while, it's been kind of bland, honestly. And I feel
Mm,
like, I don't know. I feel like back when I first read Chainsaw, it was at its height, and I had binged a lot of it, and then I had caught up, and then I was reading it week to week, and it was just exciting every week. But this time, it's a lot slower, and everything happening isn't as exciting. So I'm
right.
like, maybe it'll be better once it's animated, like watching it in more of a condensed form, or
Mm,
maybe one day when I reread it, it'll be more enjoyable, like reading it all at once. But it's not
right.
bad. It's just not as good as like the first part was. Um, but now it's starting to get back into that like wild that this man Fujimoto is just doing whatever.
That is crazy.
um, but yeah, that last chapter is insane. You gotta catch up so we can talk about it. It was
Man.
I can't
All
believe what
right.
happened. But yeah, let me talk about Wonder Woman. um,
Okay.
in the last issue I read, it pissed me off because there were several pages of text. Like the whole issue is like people essentially sending letters to Wonder Woman because she's leaving and going back to Themyscira. And
Mm-hmm.
there were several pages of text that were in just cursive. Mind you, this comic is from the 80s. This is 80s cursive.
Oh. Oh, that's
And
not.
it's just it was damn near impossible to read. I was struggling. It was like a completely different language. It was crazy. I was so angry. And just when I thought it was done, I turned a couple more pages and there was more. And I was like, why are you doing this to me? Never do this again. I swear to God. I'm so glad modern comics don't do that. It's don't write large portions of text in cursive. People, well, first off, people don't write in cursive anymore, or at least they don't teach it anymore. So cursive needs to just disappear. I see no use for it.
Mm.
But yeah, that's all I
No,
got on comics.
you're right though. Like honestly, as a person, one of the few people left on the planet that are like below 60 that can write in cursive, it has changed my handwriting fundamentally for the worse. For the worse.
Got
And
people out here writing like doctors.
no, for real. It's tragic.
But moving on to TV and film. Did I send you the trailer for Venom: The Last Dance? Uh,
You did, and then I've also been seeing it all over Twitter.
yeah.
People are very excited.
I still haven't watched the second one yet with Carnage. I need to check that out. But it low key boggles my mind that this series managed to make a trilogy because they're not particularly good films, but they can be fun to an extent. You know, I've talked about it 1,000 times whenever we talk about like Venom or any of these other like Sony Spider-Man adjacent movies. A universe of Spider-Man related movies that don't star Spider-Man could genuinely work if it had
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the connective tissue. He's the glue. Venom shouldn't be what Venom is without Spider-Man. But
Yeah.
like he never needs to. They could do this and have Spider-Man, but he never needs. I think honestly, even he shouldn't be a main focus. They should make a whole universe where Spider-Man exists. He's talked about. You see him. He comes in and like thwarts the villain every now and again, but he's never the main focus. He's just in the background.
Right.
He's that connective tissue. I don't understand why they haven't done that. It's ridiculous. That should have been what they've been doing from the beginning. I think that the Venom movie shouldn't have been a Venom origin story. It should have been taking place after Venom's like first, or maybe not first, but his first couple of battles with Spider-Man. He like goes to San Francisco to like try and start a new life or something like that. Like I don't know. It's strange. I'll probably check this out though. Not in theaters though. I'll wait way later. um, so they're making a Yakuza live action show for Amazon
Saw.
Prime. It's called Like a Dragon, which is, it's funny that Resident Evil and Yakuza do this, where actually a really weird coincidence that both of these games did this. So in Japan, Resident Evil is called Biohazard, and Yakuza is called Like a Dragon. But in America, of course, it's called Yakuza, and it's called Resident Evil. But for both of their 7th games, they call it Resident Evil 7 is called Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and in Japan it's called Biohazard 7 Resident Evil. And then Yakuza 7 is called Like a Dragon Yakuza. And it's called Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then Japan is called Like a Dragon Yakuza. It's crazy that they did that. But unlike Yakuza, Resident Evil continues to call itself Resident Evil because it's just it's catchy. It's what it's known as in English speaking countries.
Right.
Whereas Yakuza completely switched it, and now all of the games are called Like a Dragon.
Right.
But yeah, I've just been, I wanted this for long. Not because I'm a fan of the games, but because I'm a fan of the story of the games. I used to watch Yakuza cutscene compilations on YouTube like it was a TV show. So the fact that it's actually getting a TV show is great for me because I get to experience the story proper. Yeah, it'll be on Amazon Prime this fall. And Amazon Prime they usually hit with adaptations. Invincible, The Boys. Even though I'm not a fan of The Boys, people like it. And Fallout. So I hope this is good.
And then the movie, like there's a live action Yakuza movie that came out, I think like a couple years ago. So while you're waiting for this adaptation, watch the movie, which is really good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
I did. Oh my god, there was a trailer for Aliens Romulus. I can't remember. Oh no, I think because I was gonna say, did I see this in theaters? No, because I went to the movies a while back to see Furiosa, which I'll get to. But that was the first trailer that I saw in there. But they released a new trailer, and it is so good. It is such a good trailer. I was already so excited for this movie, and this trailer made me so much more excited. Did you manage to check it out?
It looks good.
It looks so good. Fede Alvarez, having directed Evil Dead 2013, Don't Breathe, and this movie, having all of these under his belt, is just he's gonna become a horror icon.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alien is my favorite movie of all time, the very first one. So I'm so excited to have an Alien movie go back to the roots, the more horror focused roots. It looks like in the trailer they showed there's gonna be a little bit of action, but which is just par for the course of the Alien movies ever since the second one. But as long as it's not too much, because I do want it to be more horror focused. For me, that's when it's at its best. Even though I do like the action focused ones. This like Halloween or October, I'm probably gonna go and watch the ones that there's a couple I haven't seen. There's just some I haven't seen in a long, long time. Like I haven't seen Aliens 3 and what was it, Revelations in a long time. I don't think I've ever seen. I haven't seen the last one at all. I can't remember what it's called. And I haven't seen Prometheus. Or I think I've seen a little bit of Prometheus. I've never seen the full Prometheus movie. So I'm going to have to go back and watch those eventually. Maybe even before this comes out. And I have a friend of mine who hasn't seen any of them. So maybe I'll watch them all with her.
Really? I've seen the first two. Or the first one and then like half of the second one.
You've seen the best ones.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Just watch the first two and then watch the new one. But also like In Space, No One Can Hear You Scream is easily probably the hardest movie tagline of all time.
No, for real.
Especially for a horror movie. That line goes so hard. Also the moment in the trailer where they're showing like the alien logo and it's like the lines and they're symmetrical and it's just like most like you can't hear they say the tagline like using text. In space, no one can hear you, and then they don't say scream. They just show her screaming, and then the sound is completely cut out because, of course, there's no sound in space. And then there's just music playing, and then they show the alien logo, and I was like, oh my god. If the direction in this movie is anything like this trailer, I'm excited.
Right.
It's just such a good trailer. Even if you don't watch the movie, watch the trailer, guys. It's such a good trailer. The second Alien Romulus trailer. So the Acolyte Star Wars show has come out. And it's real good so far. It's what I've hoped for and more. So at the beginning of the very first episode, Carrie-Anne Moss, aka Trinity from The Matrix, she jumps up some stairs, like it's a wuxia film, which is like those old school martial arts
Right.
films, those very like high fantasy style Chinese martial arts films where they're like flying all over the place. Um, and I didn't realize I needed that in Star Wars. And it dawned on me like, why hasn't Star Wars always been doing this? Because Jedi do these ridiculous like force jumps all the time. So it's weird to me is that they never leaned into that that like Hong Kong film aesthetic before. And yeah, the story is very intriguing, and it's set in the relatively new and unknown era of Star Wars High Republic. You know, there's some books and comics going through it, and Jedi Survivor touched on it a little bit, though in my opinion, not as much as they could have or should have. But this is like the first live action, or not just live action, but just anything on the screen that we're getting that's focusing on the High Republic. So it feels like they might start a push of like making more High Republic content outside of books, which I think is dope because I just exploring a completely different area, like disconnected from everything else. I think is what Star Wars needs right now.
Yeah.
To just stay away from everything else and like all the Skywalker stuff and just do something completely different. And that's what the show is doing, and I'm liking it a lot so far. It's a dark side focused story in some ways, where one of the main characters is a Sith acolyte, and is martial arts focused and extremely well choreographed, performed, shot, and edited. It's just real good. The action is incredible.
Nice.
And yeah, so they're just doing a bunch of new things with Star Wars that I really like with the show. So I hope that persists throughout the rest of the show. But they're also so we got a lot of hand-to-hand combat using the Force in this that feels natural. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm mad that we've never really got anything like this before. The only other place we've seen something like this is there's a really cool scene from the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars series from 2003 where Mace Windu is fighting a bunch of droids using his fist. That's so dope. He's using like Wing Chun to just dismantle them and using the Force is real fun. You should check out that scene or just that show in general if you've never seen it.
That show. That's one of the few forays in the Star Wars I've ever had. I love the Clone Wars TV show.
It's real good. But yeah, I would also like to see them do some more creative things with lightsabers. And it seems like they might be doing that with this show. They did tease that there's going to be a light whip, which is something that has been in like Legends comics, the non-canon stuff, but has never been in like. Well, I can't say never because the character that will be using the light whip in this show was like she's in the comics, the High Republic comics, so we've seen it before. So seeing more stuff like that and them teasing that we're probably gonna get more weird lightsabers, I'm so happy. I need them to do more interesting stuff with lightsabers, and just evolve them in the like next trilogy that they're doing, since it'll take place in the future rather than like a prequel or anything. I would like for them to evolve the technology of like lightsabers. I think that'd be really cool if they just did a bunch of really new stuff with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm enjoying Acolyte. Can't wait to watch more. So I went to see Furiosa with a couple friends, and it was phenomenal. Have you seen Mad Max Fury Road?
I have not.
It's a really good action movie. Honestly, you should probably watch this first, then watch that, because this is a prequel. And watching that just made me want to watch, because Furiosa is played by in this movie she's played by Anya Taylor-Joy. In Mad Max she's played by Charlize Theron. Yeah, the ending of the movie ties directly into Mad Max. Don't watch the credits.
Nice. Okay.
If you watch Furiosa first, don't watch the credits because the credits.
Watch the credits.
The credits literally show scenes from Fury Road.
They
show not all of, but a lot of Furiosa scenes from Fury Road in the credits because it came out after Furiosa. They assume all the people coming here watching Furiosa have seen Fury Road.
Have seen it,
but
that makes sense.
You absolutely can watch Furiosa first without spoiling Fury Road for you, as long as you don't watch the credits.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, George Miller is just a god among filmmakers when it comes to action movies. I can't imagine any other action movie topping this year. Like, I don't know, Deadpool and Wolverine would probably be fun and good, and probably like the best comic book movie this year. But I don't know if it's gonna be the best action movie because this movie is real good. Just a lot of really dynamic camera work, bold colors, which is coloring in movies nowadays be kind of boring. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's just a masterclass in action filmmaking.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely check this out in Fury Road whenever you get the chance. But so I don't know if you know this, but Hideo
Mm-hmm.
Kojima is friends with George Miller. Um,
I did know this.
yeah, so Miller did facial capture for Death Stranding, and his face is being used for one of the main characters for the second game, just like Guillermo del Toro was in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
But similarly, it's just their faces, and someone else will be like doing the voice and the actual like mocap. Um, so Kojima was invited to the premiere, and he went. And while he was there, he talked to Tom Burke, the actor who plays the character Praetorian Jack, who's
Right.
a mentor figure for Furiosa. And Kojima told Burke that his performance reminded him of Snake, and that he even looks like
Mm.
him and will make a good live action Snake. And I need to just show you what he looks like, actually, because he
Yeah, let me
really
see this guy.
does. If you look up Tom Burke Furiosa, I might just see an image, but he really does look like
Mm.
Snake. Oh wow, this image specifically is insane. He looks just like Snake in this
Oh no, you
picture.
totally see it.
Yes, it's insane. And he Tom Burke said that like on set people were telling him that he looks like Snake as well. It's because he has like this black paint on his forehead that kind of makes it look like
Right.
Snake's bandana, and
Yeah.
it just looks real cool. And now I can't imagine anyone else playing Snake. I know people want Oscar Isaac to play Snake, and like they're trying to
I
make a.
can't see Oscar Isaac as Snake.
I
I
can
just
see, well, because I've just seen so much art of people doing Oscar Isaac as Snake, so I can see him as Snake.
ah.
But I was writing notes about like the age of Snake, but I'm realizing like this
Mhm.
actor is around the same age as Oscar Isaac, so
Mm.
the age thing wouldn't matter because I was thinking like in um is I don't know if it's ever like there's nothing confirming it, but people theorized that Snake is around like 33 in the first Metal Gear Solid game.
Right.
But I think the story would honestly work better if he was in his like early 40. I can't speak. Early 40s or like mid 40s, like Tom Burke and Oscar Isaac is, because not the whole story, but the beginning of the story of that game is that he was retired. Snake had retired in Alaska, and then he was pulled back in for another mission that's in Alaska because he was so close. So I think it would make sense for him to actually be in his 40s and be retired and then come back out of retirement. So being played by a person that old wouldn't really be that serious. But also, if they wanted to go back, and I think if you make a Metal Gear series, you should start with Metal Gear Solid, and then
Yeah.
if you want to tell the stories before that, you could do a prequel that tells the story of the first two original MSX games. And you can get another actor to play young Snake, and then of course
Right.
you get a completely different actor to play Big Boss and young Big Boss, and like Snake Eater, and then older Big Boss.
Mm.
And then, of course, with the actor like Oscar Isaac or this guy Tom Burke being older, by the time they get to Metal Gear Solid 4, they might just look old enough to just play old Snake without any makeup.
Yeah.
So this could work out really well. I feel like Snake being older would actually make a lot of sense for the story. And
Yeah.
honestly, I wouldn't be mad if like George Miller directed a Metal Gear movie because George Miller was like, I would like Kojima to make a Mad Max game, and I was like, well, I would like George Miller to make a Metal Gear movie. What if they just collaborate it like that?
Be nice.
But yeah, that's all I got for TV and film.
I had something that I forgot about when I was talking about media I was consuming in the beginning, but just remembered. I s- I saw the TV Glow over the weekend. And this is really divisive. It's one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Is that the
It
one
was
with
bad.
Justice Smith?
Yes.
Hmm.
It was bad. Like it was garbage.
No hate to Justice Smith, but I feel like he a little overrated. Like
Yeah, definitely.
he's
Definitely.
really
No hate.
he's really good in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
I did not enjoy his performance in Detective Pikachu.
Mm, and his performance in I Saw the TV Glow was just ugh. Like the I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's going to go see it, but I get what like the allegory they were going for. The whole thing is a transgender allegory, but how like somehow the director managed to make it super heavy-handed and also super like esoteric to the point where it's like not understandable at the same time. And the whole time I was in the theater, I was like, when is this movie going to end? And then it ended, and I was like, why did it end there? And it's just it was bad. And you know that it's not a strong movie that when the director, when they're doing interviews about their movie, they constantly compare it to other movies, like, oh, this scene is like this other scene in this other movie that's better. It's like it doesn't stand on its own legs, and so it collapses on under its own weight. And it's like there were a lot of good individual moments, but then those individual moments would be overshadowed by like just the rest of it, which was shit.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
What are other people saying about it? Because I haven't really heard much.
All the reviews I've seen were like raving, like before I went to go see it. Like everybody on social media were like, "Oh, this is one of the best movies I've seen. It made me cry." I was in the theater like bored as hell, waiting for it to end. I was kind of mad that I spent money on a ticket to go see it. It was that bad.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out when it's on streaming.
Yeah.
But moving on to video games. We're talking about Tales of Kenzera Zao. So Abu Kabar, I'm pronouncing that name so wrong. Let me try this again. Abu Bakar. No, I was right. I'm good. Yeah, Abu Bakar Salim, the creative director of Tales of Kenzera Zao, issued a statement addressing the constant targeted harassment both he and his studio have faced since the release of Zao. And it's just absolutely disgusting how we get treated for daring to exist. They tell us to make our own characters. They tell us to make our own games, our own movies, our own comics, whatever. And when we do, we still get harassed. We still get attacked.
Right.
Proving that they don't care about us making original stories. They just don't like us. That's all it is. And some people try to pretend like they don't notice it, or it's because they're part of the problem. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so my PlayStation Plus subscription ran up, and so I bought the game because I was just like, I'm giving these people my money. I want them to make more games, and they need support right now. And luckily, Abukar is like he's very vocal on Twitter. He's talking to people about it and shutting people who are trying to be racist down. And ultimately, he's getting a lot of positivity. So far as I can tell, he's feeling pretty good, and that's good. I'm hoping he can help lift the spirits of his team as well by doing all that stuff. And yeah, this game is fun. I'm gonna keep playing it until I finish it. It's a pretty short game. And honestly, I think maybe this is a little I don't know if racist is the term to use, but I want them to make a Black Panther game. Because I was like, a Black Panther Metroidvania would actually be pretty cool. I feel like that would be really cool. And
Metroidvania is an interesting angle to take it from.
Like, because Zao is a Metroidvania, and their like art direction and art style with Black Panther would be really fun. But yeah, it just feels weird to be like, the studio that made this African game, make another African game, make Black Panther.
Right, but if it's like it'd be more of a middle finger than anything. It's like, oh, y'all hate Black people so bad. Have this Black Panther game. Go die in a hole. We're going to keep making cool games about cool people because Black people are cool.
Exactly.
You're so cool.
But yeah, sounds great. Definitely. If you got PlayStation Plus, you get it for no additional cost. If not, it's actually discounted now. Because of all of this racism, they decided to discount it. Make it easier for people to get. The usual price is $20, and it's less than that now. So. I believe it's out everywhere, so check it out. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? There's a black woman with a well-modeled black hairstyle that surprised me. And
wow!
She was Barrett's partner, so I guess they knew they couldn't give her something basic. They was like, this is one of the main characters, like, girl, we can't just have her having this horrible. All the other black characters either have white people hair or like horrible versions of black haircuts. But despite that fact, there are actually like a lot of black people in this game, unlike Final Fantasy 16 with no black people. There are a lot of black people in this game. You just look everywhere, and it's very diverse.
Good.
But yeah, like I said, 40% through what seems to be the final chapter. So by episode 100, I'll probably be finished. But before we get to I guess I should have said it off top, and I'll probably say it right now and edit it to the beginning. But there's a lot of game showcases going on.
Oh yeah.
There's it's Summer Games Fest. We had the PlayStation State of Play like a week ago, and now we're having Summer Games Fest happening right now. And Xbox showcases in 30 minutes from when we're recording right now. And then Ubisoft Forward is tomorrow. So we're not even recording everything today. We're recording like half of what we have, and then we're going to record the rest tomorrow. And yeah, before we get into that though, I'm going to talk about Hades 2. Because I got a PC, I got a, what is it? ROG Zephyrus. It's very beautiful.
Nice.
It's a very beautiful machine. It's the reason I got it is because let me tell you something about gaming hardware and the way they're designed sucks. They have this gaming stuff is designed so weird all the time. It has, I don't even know how to describe it. Well, one, they have this weird obsession with like making stuff look like race car stuff, and like why? That's stupid.
Right.
And then they're always so like chunky and blocky and have these weird edges, and I'm just like, bro, just make a regular laptop.
Right.
But this Zephyrus, I feel like is the perfect balance between like this kind of like over the top like gaming hardware stuff and like a MacBook. If you look it up, what it's called, the ROG Zephyrus 2024, I have the 14-inch version. It's a very pretty device. It's only a little bit bigger than my MacBook Air. It's thicker for sure, but not significantly. And it's only an inch bigger in terms of screen. And yeah, it's a nice device.
That's nice.
And also so the back of it, like where the hinge is, has this really cool like, it almost looked like where like a car logo is on like the back of it. It looks really cool, and it says Zephyrus. It's just a beautiful machine. And it gets hot, but like I don't touch it because I have a keyboard now and I have a mouse.
Right.
I have a Razer something. I forget what it's called. Razer Viper Ultimate. It costs a lot of money. But the keyboard is cheap though. And it's real nice despite the price. And they're both nice. I'm not used to mechanical keyboards. I haven't used a mechanical keyboard since I was in like elementary school. Just real loud clacks. But oddly satisfying. I haven't heard clacks like this in a very long time. But I'm not using it right now because we're recording. You know what? Let me just give you a little. But anyway, what was I about to say about the laptop? Because I don't touch it. The heat doesn't bother me. And also I've been playing Hades 2 on it. That's why I got it. I got it specifically to play Hades 2, but of course I'll use it for other things. I'm gonna start using it to actually record the podcast on. I just didn't feel like figuring that out right now. Like I have OBS, downloaded, but I just have to figure out all the technical stuff beforehand. So starting with episode 100, where I'm probably gonna start recording an episode. So everything's gonna be different. I'm almost done with the thing I'm not gonna talk about right now, but you guys will see it. And yeah, I've been using my PS4 controller to play Hades because mouse and keyboard was hard.
Yeah. And
I've just been using my mouse and keyboard to design mostly.
Right.
Yeah, Hades 2 is real good. It's as good as you think it is. And in fact, it's better. It's real fun so far. I don't think I have a favorite weapon yet. I feel like the one I've had the most success with is maybe the Sister Blades. But the staff is cool as well. The axe is really slow but fun. I forget what they're called, but like the flames is kind of weird but interesting. But they're not bad. I can still I can go the distance. Which is a very apt reference. But I don't know. The flames are weird. And there's one last weapon I don't have yet that I forget what it's called. It's like some orb that I've seen in like the trailer, and like I don't think I've seen anyone use it. And I'm not watching anyone play it anymore because I don't want to spoil myself, and I'm playing it myself anyway.
Right, makes sense.
Yeah, but it's real fun. Let me stop rambling and move on. PlayStation State of Play. About a week ago or so. The first thing they showed was Concord, one of their many live service efforts that people weren't super happy about, but people are feeling a little bit better about because Helldivers was really good. So we got a cinematic trailer. I think I might have sent you, and a gameplay reveal, and it'll be on PC as well. And it's a hero shooter with a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe. It looked fine to me, but a lot of people who actually play these types of games weren't impressed from what I've heard. And the thing that really interests me the most is the promise of like consistent cinematic vignettes in the vein of like the cinematic trailers for Overwatch.
Right.
And yeah, something I also want to point out is that they have a lot of really great black character designs in this game that look really cool. If you look up like I don't know, Concord Black, that sounds weird. I feel like you're gonna find like alcohol or something, but
yeah,
that sounds like a strain of weed or something.
Yeah,
but but yeah, the designs for the black characters in that game are really cool. Infinity Nikki completely caught me off guard. So the Nikki series is apparently a dress-up game series that has been going on for the past 12 years.
Oh,
that's really popular.
That Nikki, I was like, surely not.
Yeah, no, it is. But they've turned it into an open-world action platformer.
No, yeah, that sounds about right. The Nikki games, like, they're very much fashion-oriented on the surface, but apparently, from what I've heard, like, they get really deep.
Yeah, so they're making, like, a big AAA Nikki game that's, like, an action platformer. And I saw it, and I was like, what is this? This is strange, but kind of interesting. Ballad of Antara from Tipsworks Studios is a Souls-like with multiple playable characters set in a very interesting looking world. Souls-likes are like a dime a dozen, and most of them don't interest me. But the art direction for this one was very striking and beautiful, and it just stood out from all the other Souls-like games I've seen. So this one actually really interested me, and I'm excited to like learn more about it. We got a trailer for Venom and Adam Warlock being added to Marvel Rivals. I don't know why I slurred like that. My mouth just like stops working sometimes.
I get it.
And yeah, we saw Venom, Adam Warlock. They're doing a good job of not just adding the most popular characters into this game and adding like more obscure characters like Adam Warlock, Luna Snow, who I know of Luna Snow, but I have not seen her enough. So when they first showed the first trailer for the game and they showed Luna Snow, I was like, who is this original character? No, it's not an original character. This character has existed. She's still relatively new, actually. But, yeah, it's just, I did not know who that character was at first. Or I didn't recognize the character, but I didn't know who they were. But yeah, Venom, it looks cool as Venom. And they announced a beta for PlayStation 5 coming in July, which I'm going to be up in there having a good time. I gotta do something about this internet. Because unfortunately, the router's in my bedroom, which is on the opposite end of my apartment where my TV and PlayStation is. So I gotta find a way. Who knows? I might just end up playing on my laptop. Who knows? But I'll try to extend the reach of the internet.
Yeah.
But they showed a trailer for Path of Exile 2, which is like a cool-looking Diablo-style action RPG, dungeon crawler that surprisingly caught my attention because those types of games don't interest me usually. But once again, just a strong art direction will always catch my eyes, and I feel like this one had a really strong one. And I feel like especially since I'm more open to trying different genres than I was before, just as long as something looks pretty, it'll catch my eye. It will surprisingly have couch co-op, something we don't get enough nowadays. The last couch co-op, the last couch co-op game I played was a PS3 game. But I mean, the last recent couch co-op game I played was It Takes Two, which I need to finish that game when my brother comes back into town. Silent Hill 2 remake. We saw some more of that, and despite never having played a Silent Hill game in my life, this game looks off. Something about it just doesn't feel right. And I see what people are talking about, like hardcore fans, where they don't like, and I'm like, something about just don't feel right. I don't know what it is. It has this strange aura around it, I don't know if it's because of how much people are talking about it doesn't look good that's affecting my judgment, or if it genuinely just doesn't look super appealing. I don't know. Maybe it's just I
I
don't know.
feel
I had a feeling I wouldn't be into it anyway because I don't think it's like my style of survival horror. I like Resident Evil, Dead Space. Those are my type of survival
right.
horror games. But go ahead, reason.
I was saying, I definitely feel the aura. I feel like it adds to it because, like, the whole bit of Silent Hill is that it's supposed to be unnerving. It's supposed to feel incorrect. But I totally get where people are coming from, where it's like it doesn't. It looks a little funky. I just personally enjoy it, but I'm also weird, so
Yeah, if you check it out, we can talk about it on the podcast.
yeah.
um, and we got like the first proper trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. And I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan, but I wish this game all the success in the world because Monster Hunter World uh, pretty much saved Capcom because they made an ungodly amount of money, and that is the reason
Hmm.
why we're in the era of Cap God that we're in right now, with Street Fighter Six
Right.
and Devil May Cry 5 and all these Resident Evil games, both new and remakes. We're in this incredible era because of Monster Hunter World. So hopefully this
Yeah.
is just as good and makes just as much money, and we get Devil May Cry 7 or 6.
Phoenix Wright
I'm jumping to 7. We didn't even get 6 yet.
7 is crazy, and also a new Phoenix Wright game, please.
Mm,
Spirit of Justice was not. It was okay. But I know Capcom can do better.
yeah. But last but certainly not least, my favorite reveal of the show, we are getting a goddamn proper full Astrobot game. So I've been wanting a full Astrobot game since I played Astro's Playroom, which is a game that comes pre-downloaded on the PS5, and it takes advantage of the DualSense controller and all those extra like gimmicky features like that no other game since has. So this game is probably gonna you playing it with the DualSense controller is probably gonna be incredible, and it's just from the looks of the trailer, it's basically just going to be more playroom, which is all I wanted. All I want is for that to be extended. And
Right.
like low key, this dead ass might be like a game of the year contender for me.
Oh
And I'm not
wow.
even a huge fan of platformers, but this one I'm really excited for. It's releasing September 6th, later this year. For me, I thought this was an incredible showcase, but apparently most people on the internet disagree. Um, and I felt like I was going insane because I was like, "What? People don't like this? I thought it was good." And I think it's because everybody has way too high of expectations. PlayStation announced
Yeah.
earlier this year that they're not releasing any like big AAA games. Like we know that's not happening. So why are
Yeah.
people then surprised when it doesn't happen? They told us this. This shouldn't be a surprise. Later on in the year, closer to fall, they'll probably have a showcase that shows the stuff that's coming out next year. Like maybe Wolverine's coming out next year. Um, and I know there are some other games coming out next year, but I can't remember. We'll probably get a trailer or like a teaser for Ghost of Tsushima 2, which that's definitely not coming out next year. It's probably not coming out until like 2026 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but like, when did the first one come out? 2020? 2020? Hold on. Let me look that up actually. When did Ghost of Tsushima come out? Because you remember when they first showed like the gameplay and it like didn't look real? The first time they showed gameplay for Ghost of Tsushima, it did not look real. It looked like it was a fake game. We were all like, "There's no way this game's gonna actually be this good," and it was. And yeah, it came out July 2020. So I
Oh.
guess it's been long enough. There's a chance that the second game comes out next year. It's not impossible. Well, they did also make
Right.
DLC, and like they had the online component, but they work on stuff simultaneously. So there's a chance it might come out next year, but maybe not the year after that. At the very least, I don't see it coming out any later than 2026. But
Right.
it could potentially come out next year, 2025, which would be cool. Um, I low-key want them to make another Infamous game more than I want Ghost of Tsushima 2, if I'm being honest. Um, but moving on. Summer Games Fest, day one. We got a Lego Horizon game, which is strange,
Oh.
but it looks cool, and I'm sure a lot of kids will have fun with it. And it's releasing on Switch, which caught me off guard because it's a PlayStation franchise. But it won't be on Xbox. But it will be on Switch. We got a trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, and we'll see a lot more of that at the Ubisoft Forward, which we'll talk about later. But it continues to not capture my interest at all. I want to be wrong about this game, like I was with Guardians of the Galaxy, where on the surface it didn't look interesting to me, but once I eventually played it when it was on Game Pass, I actually enjoyed it. Hopefully it's something like that. You know, I don't ever want a game to be good, especially Star Wars. I mean, bad, but especially Star Wars game, but like, it just doesn't look super interesting to me.
Right.
We got a trailer for a game called Neva. Neva is an emotionally charged action adventure from the visionary team behind the critically acclaimed Grease. I sent you this trailer. Did you check it out?
You did.
Yeah.
And I did, and I love Grease. I love Grease to pieces, so I'm especially excited.
Neva chronicles the story of Alba, a young woman bound to a curious wolf cub, following a traumatic encounter with dark forces. Together, they embark on a perilous journey through a once beautiful world as it slowly decays around them. Over time, their relationship will evolve as they learn to work together, helping one another to brave increasingly dangerous situations. So it didn't interest me until I saw a little bit of action. I was like, ooh, maybe I like this. The art style looks cool, but like Grease wasn't really my jam. But like this one, I'm like, maybe I might check this out. It looks cool. It's great art style. Like I said, art direction, man. It's all it takes. You just gotta look pretty.
Oh yeah.
And not be basic. We got a little bit more stuff for Metaphor. There was like a whole like 22-minute another like showcase that I just didn't watch because I didn't have time.
Right.
But we did get a trailer that I sent you that showed off a little bit of the 2D cinematics and revealed damn near all of this game's equivalent of the personas, which are called archetypes, of which there would be 40 types. And unlike Persona, we talked about before, every character will be able to use the different types rather than just the main character like in their previous games. And that's cool. Where's Persona 6, Alice? No, I'm joking. I need to finish Persona 3.
Working on it. They're working on it.
Yeah, of course they're working on it.
Yeah, but like I've seen or heard some stuff.
Yeah, there's some
from
possible leaks of a logo.
Yeah. I haven't seen the logo leak.
I haven't seen it either. I don't want to. I'm just gonna ignore it. I normally would look at that type of stuff, but I'm like, I don't care.
Because I feel like I'm gonna get disappointed.
But like, I mean, I don't, because their graphic design team is incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, got 2 gigantic games to finish anyway. I got to finish Persona 3, and then I'm probably gonna play Metaphor when it comes out. And then I gotta fucking play Persona 5 Royal.
Right.
And try to actually finish it. But let me finish Persona 3 first. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna finish that.
Right.
So we got a Street Fighter 6 trailer. For the first time ever, a mainline Street Fighter game will have guest characters, starting with Terry Bogard and Mai Shirinu from SNK and Fatal Fury.
Wow.
And we also will be getting returning characters, Elena from Street Fighter 3, and she was in Street Fighter 4. And somehow M. Bison has returned, like Palpatine. He refuses to die, and they keep bringing him back. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Stay dead. Charlie Nash died, came back to life, and died again, just for this man to come back one more time. Bring back Nash again to kill him again. Because what's happening? Why M. Bison keep coming back? Why? Let this man stay dead. Somebody made a tweet about like the pants that he's wearing and calling them like white girl pants or something like that, and sound like and somebody made a tweet saying, of course M. Bison is gonna be wearing white girl pants, because his whole thing is like he wants to be immortal, and like he every time he makes like an extra body for himself to like transfer his consciousness to, it's always just a white woman. Like Cammy's whole story is that she was like meant to be she was a doll, which was essentially like a backup body for Bison. So like it's just real funny. Look, I'm gonna be uncharacteristically horny right now, okay, on this podcast. I'm sorry, but I gotta be honest. You know who my Shirinu is? Real? From SNK.
Oh yeah.
You guys know. If you don't know, look her up. Be careful. Make sure no one's standing behind you.
Turn safe search on.
The moment, so turn safe search on, because the moment you go to images, you're gonna see some stuff. She's real popular. I'll say that much. And you've seen Street Fighter. Beautiful game, beautiful art style. Do I really gotta say it?
The silence is telling.
I ain't gotta say it. I'm excited to see what she looks like in this art style.
Oh yeah.
And I hope she has her like normal like what do they call it? Idle animation. Her idle animation is absolutely insane. Whoever designed that is I would like to shake your hand first off, but also you're insane. You're absolutely wild. But also, I am mad at you. Let's move on. Uh, we're gonna wrap up with Tears of Metal because the thing after that is pretty cool and long, and I want to save that for next time.
Okay.
Tears of Metal I didn't see your trailer for it, but it got completely overshadowed because it was right after the Street Fighter 6 trailer, so I was just distracted by the fact that they were adding all these characters. But it's a roguelike co-op hack and slash, and it looks cool. It's a bit of like a what do we call it, Musuo, like the Dynasty Warrior games type genre. But it looks interesting. Again, fun art style. So, Blumhouse Games, Blumhouse, the film studio, now has a games division dedicated to funding indie horror games, and they announced 6 in a single trailer. The first one, well, actually, I'm not going to go in order that they showed it, because one of them is going to be out of order, because I'm saving it for last, because it was my favorite that they showed.
Right.
So the first is Crystal Theater of Idols, which will combine action, horror, and adventure to deliver a spooky first-person shooter that revolves around Spanish folklore. That looks pretty fun. Sleep Awake, a first-person psychedelic horror game set in the far future, according to Eyes Out's Twitter page. It's a I wrote these notes kind of weird. Hold on, give me a second. Well, I guess the figureheads of Eyes Out, the studio making Sleep Awake, one of them worked on Spec Ops: The Line. Was the director of that, and one of them is Nine Inch Nails lead guitarist Robin Flink, which is random as hell. But
yeah, very random.
But yeah, they aim to use deep narrative themes with music and interactivity to produce something they consider special. Fear the Spotlight is an atmospheric third-person horror adventure with a disturbing mystery to unravel. Sneak into school after hours with Vivian and Amy, survive a seance gone wrong, solve tactile puzzles, and whatever you do, stay out of the spotlight. It actually already released on Steam in September of last year, and Blumhouse noticed its early success and offered a helping hand to make the game even better. So developer Cozy Game Pals has since removed the game from Steam, but plans to put it back up in the fall this year, 2024, along with at least an extra hour of story content. Something that people who already own the game will have free access to.
Nice.
The simulation from Santiago, Chile-based Play Me Studios is a mind-bending psychological horror that looks like it'll play with meta themes and gameplay styles. They didn't show much, but Project C is a game intentionally shrouded in mystery, evidenced by the game's Steam page, which features an array of redacted sentences. An incredibly exciting collaboration between Sam Barlow, the writer / designer behind Her Story and Immortality, and Brandon Cronenberg, the Canadian filmmaker and son of legendary David Cronenberg.
Oh, wow.
So, excited to see whatever this is. You know it's going to be weird.
Yeah. Yep.
And finally, my personal favorite, Grave Seasons, a farming simulator with a murder mystery twist from developer Perfect Garbage. Grave Seasons will see players tend to their crops, plant some seeds, talk with some townfolk, and strike up romance, all while also attempting to figure out the culprit behind some grisly supernatural murders. And I got all this information from Game Rant.
Ooh, nice. I saw like a trailer or like a teaser for the last game on Twitter. I was like, oh boy, another farming sim. And they were like, farming sim murder mystery. And I was like, all right, hold on. Piqued my interest.
Exactly. I don't care about farming sims, but it's the like romance stuff and the horror that makes it interesting to me.
You don't see that often. Good on them for managing to take the dime a dozen farming sim genre and do something interesting with it.
Yeah. So next we saw Power Rangers Rito Rewind. What? I'm starting all over the place. Power Rangers Rito Rewind, developed by Digital Eclipse. We're finally getting a Power Rangers beat 'em up. We've been talking about it all the time since Shredder's Revenge came out, and we're finally getting it. I wish it was by Tribute Games, the studio behind Shredder's Revenge, but I'm just happy that it's happening. It looks cool. And then after that, we got a trailer for a Killer Bean video game. Killer Bean is something that I've only heard of. I've seen some like clips and images and memes.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
I've not watched it, but the game looks really good.
Yeah, as a person who's watched Killer Bean, first of all, you should watch Killer Bean for all the silliness and all the everything that it is. It's actually a genuinely good movie, and the guy is a good sport about it, and like it's a passion project with a lot of heart put into it, despite how silly it is. I love Killer Bean. It's great. Yeah. I'm really excited for this game because it's been in the making since like 2020, 2019-ish. And now we have like gameplay trailers for it.
They've been making it by themselves.
Yeah.
It's made by the animator from Killer Bean Forever. And
right.
It's a first person. Well, it's a first and third person. It'll go between the two. Open world roguelike shooter where you play as Killer Bean in his journey to take down the powerful Shadow Agency. And yeah, it reminds me of Max Payne and The Matrix. And funnily enough, that's not a coincidence because the dev who made it actually did CGI for Matrix Reloaded, the second Matrix movie.
Oh.
So
makes
that's
sense.
why it's so heavily Matrix inspired, because he literally was one of the people that made those movies great.
Right.
But yeah, it looks fun.
It looks so fun. I'm excited.
We saw Cairn, which is a realistic climbing sim by the Game Bakers. And every time I see a game like this, I think this is what I want from an Uncharted game. Kinda.
Right.
I want the climbing to be a bit more challenging and kind of like a platformer mixed in with like puzzles. Since climbing is such a huge part of those games, but maybe the reason they don't do that is because it would just make things more tedious than fun. But
right.
I don't know. I want a game like Uncharted where the climbing is actually like more challenging than just holding up on the joystick.
Yeah.
So Inner Sloth developers of Among Us announced Outer Sloth, which will be the organization they're creating to fund indie games. And yes, it's just dope. They announced a bunch of like games and studios that they're working with, and their indie game took off and is making them a lot of money, so they decided to help other people out. And also they showed a little sneak peek of the Among Us show, which I forgot was happening.
Oh yeah.
And the cast is ridiculous.
Yeah.
They got Patton Oswalt, Phil Lamar, Ashley Johnson, Deborah Wilson, Dan Stevens, Kamiko Glenn, Elijah Wood, Liv Hewson, Randall Park, Wayne Knight, and Yvette Nicole Brown. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
I think that's my favorite part about it. It's like the star-studded cast for Among Us.
Yeah.
On TV.
It'd probably be real funny.
Yeah.
We got the smallest of trailers for Skate, and the announcement of a console playtest in the fall, which I need to sign up for. I'm excited for that. I have hope in this game. I think it'll be good. The reality is they just haven't been working on it that long. They've been working on it for like, I don't know, 2 years. So like, it's still a ways out. It's not coming out next year. Maybe the year after that, but probably not even that year. Probably the year after that. Like, this game's gonna be a while out. Who knows? Actually, it might. 2026 seems likely because it's gonna be a games as a service, so it's gonna be around for as long as they can make it last. So there's a chance that it does come out earlier, and of course they just work on it as it's out. And the very last thing we're going to talk about from Summer Games Fest is Phantom Blade Zero, which was the very last thing that they showed. So the last time we saw this game, it looked too good to be true. But this trailer and a gameplay showcase that they had like the day after, or I think the day of, proved that it's real. This is a real game.
Yeah.
And it looks good. It looked like it was a Souls-like before, but it's actually more of like a... Well, they actually specifically say, the developers, that it is inspired by old hack and slash games, and they're not trying to make a Souls-like necessarily. That the map itself would be kind of Souls-like and taking inspiration from like Metroidvanias, but the gameplay would be more like a traditional action game.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's cool to see like a old school hack and slash. And they say it's wuxia inspired. Those old
which is extra fun
Chinese films, and it looks really cool. All the animations look great, and that's why everybody thought it was fake. And it was like, this can't be real. This has to be one of those mobile games where you just do quick time events. But nah, it's real. But yeah, this Summer Games Fest was very indie heavy, which further proves that indies are the future and they're taking over the world. As scary as so many AAA studios being tossed aside is, the fact that indies are rising up to meet them is very encouraging. Yeah, but now speaking of studios being tossed aside, Xbox Showcase. They kicked it off with Call of Duty 6. Well, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Which will be on Game Pass day one, officially. Call of Duty. Xbox got it. It's going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still releasing everywhere, but it's going to be on Game Pass day one. And they talked about how they're no longer going to do, like, limited, that all, like, updates will be free, which is fun, which is really cool. And, they had after the showcase, they had a Call of Duty event where they went into detail with all the stuff that if you're not into Call of Duty, you're not going to care. And I'm not into Call of Duty as much as I was, like, 15 years ago, so I didn't care. It was cool seeing all the stuff that they're doing. And there are a lot of really cool advancements that they're making with the movement system. Like now you can dash in every sprint in every direction, where before you can only sprint forward. You can sprint in all directions, and you can dive in backwards. And when you're on the ground, there's like these really cool animations when you're like spinning around onto your back to aim and stuff. It's some really cool technical stuff that will, for people who play the game, will change it a decent amount and make moving around a lot more nuanced. So that's interesting. But otherwise, it didn't really catch me. Not even the story mode, which usually is the stuff that I'm into with Call of Duty. But even the story modes haven't really been catching my eye lately. We talked about it before, but like these studios do other stuff, man. If you're gonna release a Call of Duty every year, I feel like, well, first off, just don't.
Right.
They can cut back. They can do a Call of Duty like every other year, and instead I think there's like 3 studios that they go in between. It's Raven, Sledgehammer, and Treyarch, and every year they trade. So that means that they each get 3 years to make a new one, just about. So instead, what if they did it every other year, and in between, every studio in between making a Call of Duty gets to make a different game that's not Call of Duty.
Right.
They should do that. They don't need Call of Duty every year. It's unnecessary. But moving on for Call of Duty, this is one of the best gaming showcases I've seen in years. It was, after Call of Duty, getting straight into it, they showed Doom, the Dark Ages, the leaked Doom prequel. We finally got an official reveal, and oh my god, it looks so good. It does. It's a prequel to the 2016 game, but takes place after, I think, Doom 64. And we'll finally be able to use that mech that you can find in the Slayer's Lair and Doom Eternal, but that they never let you use. You'll finally be able to use it, and we'll be able to ride a jet-fueled cybernetic dragon. We saw several new weapons, but the ones that stood out to me were the shield, the shield chainsaw, which is a shield with chainsaw blades around it. You have a flail for a melee weapon, and a gun that uses crushed up skulls as ammo. You put a skull into it, and then it crushes the skull and shoots out the fragments. And yeah, of course, with the shield you can block stuff, but you can also rev up the chainsaw part of it, and you can throw it like Captain America and have it bounce around. And you can parry. You can parry in a Doom game. This is a first-person shooter where you can parry. That is ridiculous. It's the Dark Souls of first-person shooters. But yeah, it's releasing sometime next year. And next year's going to be stacked from just all the games announced in the showcases coming out next year alone. Next, we got Claire Obscure Expedition 33. So Expedition 33 is an upcoming reactive turn-based RPG that will transport you to beautiful, surrealist new world inspired by Francis Lebel Epoque, a period famous for its stunning and lavish contributions to the country's world-renowned cultural art. As a member of the expeditioners, who are embarking on an impossible quest to end the painter's cycle of death, you'll journey through a vast and beautiful fantasy world where you'll battle deadly adversaries, befriend fabled creatures, and discover traces of those who come before. And the narration by Ben Starr and his incredible voice, the voice actor who plays the main character of Final Fantasy 16, Cloud Rosfield. Essentially like the person they're going after, the paintress, is like they paint a new number. I don't know if it's every year or just randomly whenever they feel like it, and anybody the age of that number dies. They just get dusted. Like it's Avengers. And yeah, it's messed up. Like the beginning of the trailer, the number is 33, and the main character that Ben Starr voices, his like significant other just disappears. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I was surprised when I actually saw the gameplay, because it's a turn-based game. When you see the game and what it looks like, you don't expect it to be turn-based, and then the gameplay is actually like, whoa, this is different. This is not what I was expecting. Right. I thought this was going to be like a character action game, but no, it's turn-based. So it's described as an evolution of JRPG combat with real-time actions. It has reactive turn-based RPG is what they call it, where it kind of has like, I can't remember which of the Mario RPG games it does it in, if it was Paper Mario or Mario RPG, where like you have to like time button presses.
That's both of them technically, but that's definitely more of a Mario RPG kind of thing.
Yeah. So, but also in real time, you can or have to dodge, parry, and counter in real time in the middle of like all of the other stuff. And you can do combos. It's with attack rhythms. It's very interesting. And also there's like some of the attacks involve you aiming a weapon. So it's a very interesting way to do turn-based combat that I'm excited to see more of this. And it comes out this year, October 25th on PS5, PC, and Xbox. But it'll be on Game Pass, so you know I'm a player. Technically, that's like 15 days after my Game Pass subscription is up, but after this thing, I'm probably gonna renew it. I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of good games are coming out.
Yeah.
Like before I played Persona 5 back in like 2017, I would have been immensely disappointed the moment I saw that the gameplay was turn-based and not real-time action. But I've grown to enjoy turn-based, so when I saw it, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. We finally got an official gameplay reveal for South of Midnight, which we saw a cinematic for at an Xbox event sometime last year. And it's it has the art style that we see a lot. 3D models, 2D textures and effects. And it's animated on 2s and 12 frames per second. We meet Hazel and her newly revealed companion, Catfish, as they travel through a flooded area inspired by the Mississippi Delta, and quickly find themselves facing down one of the game's monster kings. Meet two-toed Tom, a gigantic albino alligator with a powerful hunger, and even his own theme song. The trailer offers a look at combat and traversal, showing off Hazel's magical weaving powers, and gives us a taste of the game's darkly gorgeous Deep South setting. So, did you check out this trailer?
I did. It seems really interesting.
Yeah.
You don't get this setting often in games, so I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Yeah. And starring a black person. You don't see that often in games either.
No, for real.
And we got a couple of those, because I'm gonna skip over one and talk about that since we're on it. Flintlock, another game starring a black woman. It's Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, which actually comes out in like a month, July 18th.
Nice.
So set in the beleaguered world of Kane, you'll guide Nor Vanek, a Flintlock weapons expert, on a quest to kill the rampaging gods that invaded her world. So it's a cool looking Souls Light, as they call it. With a T, not a K.
Right, like roguelike,
yeah.
light.
Even though there's not really different. Blending classic Souls mechanics with a brutal, fast-paced combat system. Nor can be a combination of axe combat, flintlock, weaponry, and magic, creating devastating combos. But you'll need skill to survive. Like I said, it's coming out next month, and it'll be on Game Pass, I believe. So,
nice.
It looks cool. I might check it out.
Yeah.
But the thing because I skipped over this thing, we're gonna have 2 bangers back to back, banger after banger. Which is what this showcase was. I lied to you not. I was sitting in here after the showcase, just going over and over again, going banger after banger after banger for like 10 minutes straight.
For good reason, though.
Because it was so good. Shout out to Seamus. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. You don't understand how I jumped out of my seat. I was like, oh my God.
I can imagine.
I can't believe it. I did not think they were going to show this here. Because it was announced at a PlayStation showcase, so everybody thought they're going to show it again. It's going to be at a PlayStation showcase. Nope. They showed it here. So we got a full-on gameplay reveal. And still no release date. But they're Konami's on this series on YouTube with David Hayter, the voice of Snake, where they talk about Metal Gear. And they released one that I just watched actually not too long ago. And they announced pre-orders, but still no date. And I'm gonna pre-order it because I'm gonna play it. And I want I want that collector's edition.
Yeah,
but
makes sense.
I'm just waiting for it to be in stock in Best Buy again. I could get it from GameStop, but I don't trust packages being delivered here, let alone that one. So I'd rather get it at Best Buy where I have to go pick it up. Like I did with this gaming laptop because I did not trust this expensive piece of machinery getting delivered into this neighborhood.
I get it.
On this very busy street that I live on. That's why I have a Ring camera now. I'll be watching out for them packages. But yeah, I'm real excited. So they did, both in this video, they talked about some of the stuff that they ended up posting on their website that I was trying to find last night, but for the longest time I couldn't find out where people were getting information. People kept talking about it, but not citing the source. And I'm like, where are you guys getting this information? But it was just their website. So the battle damage system has been upgraded. In Metal Gear Solid 3, a big mechanic that unfortunately never comes back in any of the other Metal Gear games, and I think other games should do something like this, where you gotta eat. If you don't, you'll starve. Like single-player action games. There's plenty of games that do that type of mechanic. The type of mechanics I'm going to describe. But if you don't eat, you'll start to get hungry, and you'll like lose health, and your stamina will go down. You have to bandage your wounds. You have to treat your wounds just in general. If you get a bullet shot, you have to use very specific. You have to go into the menu and click a bunch of very specific things to take care of it. Like you have to use a specific thing to take out the bullet. You got to use antiseptic, and then you got to bandage it up. And same thing with various different other things like burns. So that's coming back, of course, because why would it not? It would be ridiculous if it didn't. But along with that, the wounds will heal and scar over, and that will persist throughout the entire game, and that's cool as hell.
Very cool.
That's dope. So yeah, injuries will leave their mark permanently, and you'll be able to select between modern and classic control styles. They didn't really go into what that really means, so I'm not really sure how it'll work. But they also showed that it'll have 2 different camera styles, which is surprising that they're doing it for this game, but at the same time not, because the original Metal Gear Solid 3 does the same thing. It has a fixed camera mode, and it has, there was a version of it that came out afterwards called Subsistence that had the original camera mode that the game came out with was fixed camera, but then later on they released it with the controllable third person camera. So they're doing that again with the remake. I don't imagine they'll do it with any other remake of Metal Gear Solid, only because it works with this game because it already did that before, and this is, for as far as we can tell, is going to be as much of a one-to-one remake as something like Link's Awakening. It feels like it's going to be the exact same game with some slight tweaks and upgrades. Maybe a better comparison might be, it's somewhere in between Dead Space and Link's Awakening, where Dead Space is super What's the word? I don't know. I guess just true to the original. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. And Link's Awakening is just straight up the same game, but it looks better in a lot of ways,
Right.
and it plays just slightly differently. And this seems like somewhere in between that, where it is very, very close to the original, but makes just enough changes for it to work in terms of gameplay to evolve it, which is a very delicate balance that it seems like they're doing very well. I think this is the trailer that has convinced everyone, and myself especially, that, okay, they got it. They know what they're doing. They're not going to mess this up. Because I think making it very clear that they aren't going to change really much of anything has everybody sign a breath of relief and just be like, okay, they can't mess this up because they're literally just going to make the same game again. So remake them all, even 5. Even though that game only came out, I say only, but it came out almost 10 years ago. It came out 2015. But yeah, I'm super excited. And oh my god, they showed a whole gameplay trailer for Perfect Dark, a game that everybody thought was dead. They thought this game was done.
For real.
Everyone thought this game was dead in the water. There have been like a bunch of rumors saying that the development cycle has been troubled. So I thought that this game was either never going to see the light of day, or when it came out, it was going to be a mess. But it looks really good. So it is a reboot of the Secret Agent series featuring the iconic Joanna Dark. In the near future, Earth is struck by a series of global disasters, bringing ecosystems around the world to the verge of collapse. In the all-new Perfect Dark game, you experience the journey of Joanna Dark, Datadyne's elite agent, as she hunts down the world's most wanted criminal, Daniel Carrington. To uncover the mysteries behind the technological breakthroughs that could threaten the lives of millions of people. I read that weird, but that's the end of that sentence. But yeah, it looks good. They're seemingly turning a game that was previously originally meant to be a sequel to GoldenEye, but was turned into an original game. And they're turning it into an immersive sim that looks like it's inspired by like Deus Ex. And it's also like Mirror's Edge style parkour and hand-to-hand combat. And the animations for the takedowns were so good. Like in one of them, it's a first-person game, but you like see her leg come up and like wrap around a person's neck and slam them to the ground. It looks so good. And oh my god, did you check out the trailer?
I did check out the trailer. I'm very excited.
It looks so good, man. The moment they were looking at the roofs, I was like, this looks like it would be cool to parkour. And then she did parkour, and I was like, oh my god, what's happening? It looks incredible. I'm excited to see so much more of this, and I hope it's as good as it looks. And maybe this could be the game to do it. This could be the game to make immersive sims mainstream. It just has to do. I hope so. So we got another trailer for Fable, and I literally have no notes on it because I don't know what to write. Because it's not like, it's mostly cinematic with like little teases of what gameplay might look like, but not much. You know, it's a third-person action game. I never played the original. I don't even know what the original even plays like. I don't know anything about Fable. I just know that it exists. And based on the way it looks like the gameplay is going to be like, I probably like it. But like, and also I like the comedy. Like it's very kind of like parody take on fantasy games and stories.
For sure.
And that's fun. But like, I don't know what this is.
You would need more context. I get it.
I just got to see actual gameplay.
Yeah.
We saw a trailer for a game called Mixtape, and these next two games being back to back also makes sense. Immerse yourself in the teenage wasteland. Playing through a variety of narrative vignettes, exploring the pivotal moments that shaped them. The story is delivered through a mixtape of comedic, joyful gameplay, from skateboarding and flying to taking photos after hours at an abandoned theme park, and much more. It's the greatest hits of teenage friendship, from the first kiss to the last dance. Similar to games like What Remains of Edith Finch, Mixtape ties its narrative to a unique, vignette-driven structure that emphasizes variety, surprise, and comedy in its gameplay. Featuring music from Devo, Roxy Music, Lush, The Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop. I have no idea how to pronounce this game. This name is Susie? I think it's Susie. And the Banshees, Joy Division, and more. So, it mixes, blends gameplay, narrative, and music. Yeah, it looks visually very fun.
Yeah,
It has
it
like
kind of
that early Life is Strange kind of art style.
yeah, it kind of reminds me of another game that we talked about like a long time ago, where it was like four friends get back together to like solve the mystery of a murder in their
Oh yeah,
town,
that's
like
being made
way
by the studio that originally made um, Life is Strange. Was it? Deck Nine is making it now, but Don't
oh,
Nod.
gotcha,
Don't Nod was the original studio that made that, and they're making a new franchise.
got you.
But yeah, this looks cool. Speaking of
So
Life is Strange, and why I said these next two games being back to back make a lot of sense. Life is Strange, Double Exposure.
yeah,
Max is back.
it's back.
I was so surprised. I never thought we'd see her again.
Right.
It doesn't look a lot like her until you stare at it longer. You go, okay, I can kind of see it. And if you put them side by side, you can tell it's her, but like she looks a little different. Because I was like, at one point, I was like, it was very clearly Life is Strange because it said Deck Nine. I saw the art style, and I was like, okay, this is the next Life is Strange game. And I saw the character, and at first I thought it was Steph from True Colors, who's also in the original Life is Strange. And I was like, oh, it's a game about Steph. And then somebody said Max, and I said, no, that's not Max. And then I listened to the voice, and I was like, that is Max. What? But yes, Life is Strange Double Exposure isn't just a return for the beloved narrative adventure series, but a return for its original star, Max Caulfield, several years after we guided her through Arcadia Bay. Double Exposure sees Max return later in her life, now an artist in residence at the prestigious Caladan University. Unfortunately, calamity is never far away. Max's friend Safi is killed and will be plunged into a full-on murder mystery. It wouldn't be a Max story without murder mystery.
And for real.
Yeah, with a supernatural twist. Max's original power to rewind time has morphed into the ability to entirely shift timelines, and we'll be exploring two parallel realities, one where Safi is safe and well, and the other in the wake of her death, in order to discover the identity of her killer. So, have you played Life is Strange?
I have.
So, spoiler alert, if you haven't played Life is Strange. People are wondering like how they're going to deal with the ending of Life is Strange, the original. Like, how are they going to have that work in this game? Are they going to just pick one for us? Or is it going to, like, go on based on what our choice was in the original game? Like, is it going to be a moment at the beginning of, like, them going, like, hey, do you want a version of the story where Chloe lived, or you, and you let the city get destroyed, which is messed up, but what I did because I'm a simp, and then, or, the right one, where you don't let the whole town get destroyed.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to choose, or if they're just going to, have you choose.
I think it would be more fun if they let us choose.
Yeah, I do too. But also, since there's like this multiverse thing, maybe in the two different universes you go between or timelines you go between, will be one or the other. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of people, brought up that idea. But yeah, I'm so excited for this. I like True Colors a lot. It was real fun. And I liked how there was a whole like turn-based segment in that game that was really fun. And I like that they've started to kind of just branch out, and Deck 9 especially have come into their own with the Life is Strange franchise. So it'll be fun to see them make a story with a character that they haven't yet, because they did the like expansion with Chloe, but they never made a game with Max before until now. So next we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Honestly, horrible name amongst Indiana Jones games. You got Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Temple of Doom, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then you got the Great Circle. What were they thinking? Like, spice it up a little bit. Call it the, I don't know, Spectacular Sphere. I don't know, like, make it more interesting.
There's ways to make this work.
Like the Ring of Life or something like that. That would have been cool. Indiana Jones and the Ring of Life. That would have been interesting. Or Indiana Jones and the Circle of Life. That would have been cool. Come on now. They could have spiced
Disney
it up.
might have come after that one for that.
Yeah, Disney.
Words.
Well, actually, no. Disney owns Indiana Jones.
Oh, well, never mind.
But yeah, it looks cool. We saw some gameplay in an extended cutscene It's releasing later this year. It's by Machine Gun Games. I think I keep calling them Machine Gun Games. They're called Machine Games. I keep calling them Machine Gun Games. That's not what they're called. Studio behind Wolfenstein. They're making another game where you punch Nazis. Can't be mad at that.
For real.
They're good at it. It being first person is still weird to me. It should have been third person, but I'm sure it'll be fun. It doesn't really interest me that much, but it looks cool. It'll be on Game Pass, so. And I like Indiana Jones, so there's no reason for me not to try it out. As I always say, if it's on Game Pass, there's no reason for me not to try it out.
Yeah.
We got a gameplay trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows. But we'll talk more about that towards the end. Actually, at the very end. So the very last thing they showed was Gears of War E-Day, which is the next mainline game in the franchise, set during the pivotal emergence day, 14 years before Gears of War, the very first one. War heroes Marcus Phoenix and Don Santiago return home to face a new nightmare, the Locust Horde. These subterranean monsters, grotesque and relentless, erupt from below, laying siege to humanity itself. So I haven't played Gears of War in so long, in years. And I've been wanting to replay them because they're co-op games. And I want to replay it with my little brother because I'm currently replaying Halo with him. Replaying technically. Some of them are replaying for me, but some of them I haven't played. And I'm excited to play Halo 3. We need to finish 2 so we can get to 3 because 3 I think is the only one I haven't played. No, 3 and ODST are the only 2 I haven't played.
Right.
And 3 is considered like the best Halo. And yeah, Gears of War. People like Gears of War. Gears of War is good. People weren't the biggest fans of the last 2. Gears of War 4 and 5. Marcus Phoenix stepped down from main character. They introduced like his son, and then the 5th one, the main character was a woman, so you can only imagine how that went down. And now they're going back to Marcus. I think he's 33 in the first Gears of War game. This takes place 14 years before that. He's 22 in Emergence Day. Super young Marcus Phoenix. And in the trailer, he looks young as hell. And we see him fighting a Locust, which as the games go on, they become like stormtroopers. They just become cannon fodder. But because this is like at the very beginning, when like people are just finding out that these gigantic beasts exist, in the trailer, the cinematic trailer we saw, he's just getting manhandled, and he's not really sure how to fight them, and eventually he kills them, but it was real hard. And their whole goal is to try and make the Locusts a lot more scary in this because of the fact that this is Emergence Day. This is the day when they first attacked. They don't really know how to handle them. And yeah, I'm excited for this. Gears of War, the little bit I've played was fun. And this might be a way for me to get back into the franchise. Definitely nostalgic. And they've announced an all-digital Xbox Series X that will be releasing during holidays, which this is essentially something that was leaked a while ago that we talked about, but the previous design was spherical, or what do you call that?
Ocular, maybe?
There's a specific term for it that I can't remember. Cylinder. It was a cylinder.
Gotcha.
It was a cylinder. So it looked even more like a trash can. But they decided not to do that. I honestly wish they did because it at least would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Especially since if you're going to make it all digital, there's like the disk drive. It doesn't exist. So you can just make it circular. You can just make it any weird shape.
Yeah.
But I guess it'll be interesting for people who don't care to buy disc. But yeah, this gameplay was real good. This was a real good showcase. I say game case.
Yeah.
This proved that Game Pass is still worth it. I was concerned that Game Pass wouldn't be worth it anymore after they got rid of all those studios, but they actually still got some good games coming out on Game Pass. And we're finally seeing Xbox's investment into all of these studios finally pay off because now all those studios' games are actually finally coming out and we're actually getting to see them. So Xbox is actually showing that they have good games for the first time in a long time. And I'm excited. Especially, I think my game of that show was Perfect Dark, easily. Oh my god. You'd think it would be Metal Gear, favorite video game franchise of all time. But it's not. It's Perfect Dark. Because Metal Gear was a known quantity. I knew it existed. We already saw a little bit of gameplay before. So while it was cool to see, it's also 1-to-1. It looks better, but it's the same game. So I was like, I'm excited. I'm real excited. But Perfect Dark is different, and it's an immersive sim. We don't see that very often. We don't get immersive sims like that. I'm real excited for this. And it's a spy thriller. I like this one, spies. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. So before we wrap things up, we're going to talk about the Ubisoft Forward. Star Wars Outlaws. I still don't care. They showed so much, and I did not care. It just... This game just doesn't look interesting to me at all. I don't know what it is. It just... I don't care. It's so weird. My ideal open world Star Wars game... This will be the first open world Star Wars game, by the way. My ideal open world Star Wars game would be like this combined with Starfield, but good. Because I want to be able to... Well, and No Man's Sky. I want to be able to explore different planets. But not infinite planets. That's unnecessary. Give me a handful. Give me 5 planets. Give me like Tatooine, Naboo, Coruscant, and like some other planets. You don't have to give me every planet under the sun. Just give me like a handful of planets and like updated and add more planets over time. Like honestly, and I want it to be... I low-key do want it to be like an online multiplayer game, like No Man's Sky, where like you can play with your friends. You can decide if you want to be a Jedi or not. You can be a bounty hunter. You know, you can find a lightsaber even if you're not a Jedi and use that. You can build your own ship. You know, like you can do in Starfield. Like I feel like there are a lot of games that have different elements of what I want from an open world, like multiplayer online, like really like games as a service type Star Wars game that's gonna last a long time, and they can just keep updating it and adding more planets. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is, and it doesn't interest me. I want to be wrong. I want it to turn out to be something that I like, but it just doesn't look like something I'd like. We got an official announcement of a release window for the Sands of Time remake, and it's 2026. So I got that much time to finish the original Sands of Time.
Yeah.
Which I started playing a while ago. It's real fun. And last but not least, they showed off some Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it looks good, but not necessarily as good as I wanted it to look, but good enough that I think it'll be the first one I play in a long time, you know. I'll still wait for reviews, like I'm not about to pre-order it or nothing, but it looks fun. They showed a stealth section with Naoe, I believe her name is. And light and shadow are very important. You can knock out lights, and shadows make it real hard for enemies to detect you. And she has a Kusari Gama, which is like a sickle and chain that she can use to like throw and like pull herself towards the enemy, assassinate them. And in combat, she uses like the steel ball at the end of the chain side to like keep enemies back and like swing it real wide. And it just looks, the combat with her looks cool. And Yasuke is just a brute. He just be throwing people around, slapping them because he's the biggest man in Japan. He's just this big black dude destroying people. And yeah, it looks cool. I need to see more. I need to hear some reviews. I need to hear what people who get their hands on it say to really make a decision. But I feel like I'm gonna like it. It's probably gonna be huge, and that makes me upset because I'm like, it's gonna take me forever to finish this game.
Right.
Stop making big games. Okay, give me something small. Give me some light.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. You know, anything you got to say about any of the stuff I announced?
Not really. I'm just excited. It's a good year for games.
Yeah, and next year is going to be... People thought last year was crazy. Next year is going to be insane. We got GTA.
Oh.
We got Doom. I don't think they gave Perfect Dark a release date, but maybe Perfect Dark. Potentially the Snake Eater remake. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, I forgot to mention, but Life is Strange is coming in October. That's soon.
Oh.
I'm playing that. I'm pre-ordering that, by the way. I'm not waiting. I already know I'm gonna like
it. As you should.
Like, there are certain games in certain studios where I'm just like, I'm gonna like the game. I'm gonna pre-order.
Like it, yeah, regardless.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's all I got. As usual, you can find my ads below me, Aiara's at below them, the Musket's at below that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace. I subconsciously said that without looking at my notes, and I don't think I've ever done that. Like, I didn't even look at it. I just said it. I'm so used to it.
Nice.